welcome to episode 170 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hellman.
I'm Jeff Mayo.
Jeff, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing good. We have definitively proven what is the best Smash trailer and what is the worst Smash trailer of all time.
Yep.
Glad we got that behind us.
Yep.
Lots of fun had there. I'm sure we'll probably, like, years from now, get some comment from someone who just randomly finds the video. It's like, you're an idiot.
What will happen is we look at it, we get a comment about, but what about so-and-so? The newest Smash trailers thing that hasn't released yet. They just weren't looking at the dates.
We didn't know then.
We didn't know.
We didn't know that Shrek was going to be added
It's at number one.
In a feature-length movie for his trailer. We didn't know. We didn't know.
It's just Shrek retold. At the end, it's Sakurai's retelling.
Sakurai Shrek. That's the next creative challenge for Sakurai. Oh my god, yeah. So if you didn't catch last week's episode, was us ranking all the Super Smash Bros. Trailers going all the way back to Brawl, and it was a good old time.
Yep.
But if you weren't into Smash Bros, then maybe you didn't catch that week. This one is a little more for everybody. Even Smash, you should be playing Smash. Smash is also for everybody. But this week's episode, we're not going to be talking about any news again. We do have a little bit of game time to talk about, but the bulk of this episode is going to be the 2021 hype episode. We're going to get a hype check on all the games coming out in 2021. We're going to go through all of them. A lot less.
Not all of them.
We're gonna go through the first half. There's a lot less confirmed dates this year than normal.
Yeah,
probably a lot because of COVID. So we're gonna run through chronologically the ones that we have nailed down, and then Jeff also has some that are more nebulous. 2021. We're going to go through the first half of 2021 with that. This is what we normally do, like every 6 months. But then we're also going to have our top 10 most anticipated games for the whole year, which we also do at the beginning of every year. And it's going to be a good time.
Yep.
It's going to be very interesting to see where everything ranks for us and to see how many of the games we're excited for don't actually come out or end up not as good as we expected, because both of those have happened many times to us.
I think about half of my top 10 from last year didn't come out.
Yeah, Jeff's on a cycle where his number one is the same for 2 years straight, and then it finally comes out. And then my number one year was like Octopath, and then ended up being like number 8 on my top 10 or something. Yeah. It happens. But also, you should look forward to in the next few weeks, we will have a Cyberpunk Spoilercast with me, Jeff, Holden DePardo from Respawn Aim Fire, Brent from a bunch of things. I think he has like several different podcasts and whatever, but he's been on this podcast. You've had him. And potentially other people, if they've beaten it, but at least those 4, talking about Cyberpunk, spoiling the mess out of it. I have beaten it. Jeff's very close. So not going to talk about Cyberpunk again today. That's where you should go for that. And there's a large Spoilercast podcast feed. Look forward to it. And then also on this podcast feed, look forward to our best of 2020 episode, where I'm sure we'll have at least Jacob on, and we'll go through our top 10 games of 2020 as well as a bunch of other categories. That's always like my favorite episode every year that we do. It's so much fun.
Doing a top 15. I got it. I got a strong one. Let's go.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
Dari likes to see me scoring with the rankings.
Ooh, I love it. It's one of my favorite things is making Jeff make decisions on video games.
What's fun is I think the past years you can kind of get an idea generally where things lie. It sounds like you have absolutely no clue where anything will go this year.
For you? Yeah, I really don't. Because there's a lot of weird things to compare, because you have, like Xenoblade and Persona are weird wild cards where they're older games that are like being shoved into this 2020 thing, and like where does that stack up to like super gritty things like Last of Us and Cyberpunk? And it's like, I don't know, it's weird.
Then the Hyrule Warriors, the Bugsnax.
There's a lot of weirdness. I really don't have a great idea of where you're going to shake out. I think I'm a tad bit more predictable, but we'll see. We shall see. But Jeff, before we get into the 2021 goodness, let's talk about Sackboy A Big Adventure.
Whoa.
Wow. Hey.
Ain't that neat?
Didn't know we were going to be playing that before this next podcast, but we did. That was actually just a few hours ago at the time of this recording. Me, you, Holden, and Chad from Respawning Fire all jumped on and played. It was about 2.5, 3 hours.
Something like that.
Something like that of Sackboy A Big Adventure. Jeff, how you feeling? How'd you feel about that 2.5, 3 hours?
Had a lot of fun.
I had a lot of fun too. It was a very conducive to just hanging out with your friends. We had a lot of just like ongoing jokes that like developed.
Holden has played the game before.
Holden is a professional. I had a blast. It's like, I don't think it's a game that's like reinventing the wheel in any way, but I don't think that's a criticism of it.
No, especially since Holden brought it up, and obviously this is a drum I've been beating for about as long as we've done this podcast. We don't get a lot of 3D platformers, much less good ones, especially ones that are from bigger developers like Sony.
Right.
Like, it's weirdly enough, like, we mainly get them from Nintendo or Sony. We got some indie ones, of course, but they are few and far between.
Yeah.
So it's always nice when we get those.
It is. It absolutely is. And I haven't had like this type of experience in a while where it's just like this cooperative.
Yeah, and that's also nice even like with Sackboy compared to even the 3D platformers we get. Because, yeah, this is one you can, do all multiplayer. And, in fact, I think the game is mainly built around you do multiplayer. It can be playing single player, and I think it'd be really fun beyond that. But I think the multiplayer takes it a step further.
It feels like this is, like, the proper way to play. Like, me personally, like, I get, like, I think it's maybe this is more of, like, you and Holden specifically type of game. But I feel like I would be enjoying this game a lot less on my own. I feel like it's, like, having the chaos of everyone doing tasks together.
Yeah, it's
like really fun.
It's a weird thing, like, because this game's obviously been compared, rightfully so, to Super Mario like 3D World, where it is the same kind of platformer, co-op, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not just saying this because of our experience with 3D World. I had a lot of fun playing 3D World by myself, partly because just the way it's like it is designed for like the big group of players, but also as far as like collectibles and kind of exploring and stuff, it's a lot easier to do that when you're just by yourself.
Yeah.
Than having to like get everyone to follow you.
Are these worlds more like linear than 3D World?
3D World's pretty linear. I would say so far, because we're decently early in the game, we just beat the first world. I feel like there are more like little less obvious maybe branching paths and stuff in 3D World. Okay. And just again, it's generally linear, but there's more exploring and stuff to be had, I think.
Yeah.
And puzzles and stuff.
This one, like, not in a bad way, but it's definitely like the secrets or something. Like, if you miss the secret, it was probably like right there. It's not something like way off the beaten path. It's like, it doesn't take very long to explore everything, but you can definitely miss something. You know?
I'm not sure remembering. I know there were some like stars in 3D World that were a little more like, you gotta kind of know. I had to look up a couple, like, but these I don't know what they're called, the little frog eggs. But there are a lot of those, but the important ones that you get seem to generally be more like in your face, generally. Yeah, for the most part.
And Holden has played more than us, and he said that the collectibles are like very fun and well hidden in this game in good ways. And just like the different, like you said, it doesn't feel like the game is. I don't feel like I'm playing a game that's like meant to be single player, but they're adding this in. There was a lot of like things where like we all had to grab something and pull it at the same time.
Yeah,
like,
I'm curious if that scales if we have less players. I imagine
sure it has to. Yeah, I doubt it would like lock you out of things or do whatever. Like, yeah, I'd be interested to see how much of the game changes when you add players, because there's also like enemies. Like, are there less enemies if it's just you, or is it?
And there's that one level we did where it's co-op only, and obviously can only be done if you work together by throwing each other and all that. Yeah, that's fun.
And the throwing each other mechanic is also really fun. Because, I mean, it's also the chaos of you could just grab your friend and chuck them, and that's fun. But there's also, like, some cool puzzle mechanics involving throwing your friend somewhere and they do something.
I feel like when we get to the end of this game, we're going to obviously have a lot of fun, but kind of wish there are more, like, straight-up co-op levels, like, designed around it.
Yeah. But I didn't feel like it was such a big difference between those levels. And
I agree.
So,
yeah. Like I imagine once we go through, we'll see more cool mechanics. We're kind of like, we wish there were kind of more that were light on this.
Yeah,
and I get why they, it's not as big of a focus because some people can only or want to only play it by themselves, and it's good they're not locked out of half the game or can't play the game in general.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I feel like we're gonna get to the end and feel like this is a criminally underrated game.
Just based on what other people I've been obviously wanting to play this game. Like when we saw it announced and we're seeing more, I was like, I think I want to play this game. And then when reviews actually came out and were actually really good, I think it was one of the better review launch games for sure. And I was like, I definitely need to play this game. But I wanted to either play it with you, but then,
this is way better.
Yeah. But you were listening to the Respawning Fire podcast, and they're like, yeah, we would love to play with 2 more people. And we're like, let's go,
let's do it.
Especially that they mentioned us.
Let's get it done.
Yes. So
yeah, that was definitely a lot of fun. If you can get a group of people together, definitely do that. And it's on PS4 and PS5 and the crossplay.
We're crossplay and things went fine. There was a little bit of glitchiness with us sometimes where we would kind of teleport slightly, and there were some times where I just couldn't really move. It was stopping me from moving.
I'm not sure if that was like a PS4 particular problem or if that was just a weird. I don't know.
It's just what odds are. It's our Wi-Fi more than anything.
Probably
is what I'm going to assume.
Yeah. I think that's a safe assumption. But yeah, very fun game. I recommend it a lot.
Yeah, and Chad and Holden mentioned the DualSense stuff going on. It's like, man, I wish I could feel that. Yeah. I am probably going to, because again, I with some of these kind of 3D platforms, I get the itch for it. Go back and get the collectibles and some of the stuff we missed, and I'll do that because it's supposed to be cross save. Yeah. So do that on my PS5 version.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to get the feel for that. Especially since I feel better about going to do that because looking at it, we're not missing too much so far. It's just maybe 1 or 2 orbs in each thing. Yeah, we're in some worlds.
We're all professional gamers. We go off the beaten path,
But
Holden's played the game.
Yes, Holden has played the game. But the world design so far has been very fun with the kind of doing with stuff, and especially for a beginning world, we beat in 1 of 5 worlds.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how it ramps up and all that, and that Uptown Funk.
Yeah, I will say overall the game's not reinventing the wheel. It's doing the things that works well for other games, but there are little things that I think are unique experiences that I haven't had before, and I think a big standout was that Uptown Funk level. Where, it was the Bruno Mars Uptown Funk song, and the entire level was built around that song, the beat of that song. Platforms were moving to the beat, and you had to do things to the beat, and there was these things in the background would do. It was really well done.
Yeah, really, and apparently they're one of those levels in each world,
which is exciting. I mean, the music in this game has been really good the entire time. I kept pointing it out every time we went to a new thing. I was like, ooh, this music slaps. Yeah. And that was really cool. Just the people who made this game had a fun time making this game. Clearly.
Yeah, again, like you said, we're going to get to this game man, this is going to be the underrated gem of the PS5 launch, because it's kind of, in a way, not really. Well, the thing is, Astro / Sackboy are the knack of the PS5 launch.
But they're good.
No, that's what I'm saying. As far as the kind of kiddie 3D platformer kind of stuff, but they're both just much better.
Yeah. And obviously, Astrobot's getting its day in the sun, which it absolutely deserves. I wish that some of that could shine off on this too.
We didn't think about it, and it sounded like Chad and Holden didn't think about it when we talked about NPDs on our respective podcasts. We didn't notice that Sackboy was just not there.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah, and also Godfall wasn't, which is not necessarily a bummer per se, but kind of for that respective studio,
pretty wild.
Ouch.
Big money loss, probably.
Yep.
But especially since Sackboy, you can't say but console PS5, it's no, it's on both.
It's on both, and as we can tell, sometimes things get a bump because it's a launch game.
Yeah.
I mean, and in a way, it's good that's not the case anymore, where a bunch of people are just buying Godfall just because. I think it's good there was enough games and everything going on to not do that, but
looks like this game got buried, which
I'm hoping it's just kind of one of those things that, because overall it's probably not the biggest budget game,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just throwing that on my ass. I don't know, like, what expectations and what needed.
Probably not super high.
Yeah. So I'm hoping just like a kind of word of mouth type thing will give it kind of legs to at least make its money back and, do well.
Could be a PlayStation Plus game at some point.
Yeah.
Not too far away, but
damn good one.
Absolutely. If that happens,
we will definitely recommend that to everyone.
Definitely jump on it. Absolutely. Yeah. Very fun time.
Yep.
Very fun time. Well, also a fun time is Haven, which I beat this morning. I talked about it a few weeks ago. I kind of had to put it on hold once Cyberpunk came out. I dabbled in it a tiny bit. I knew I was like really close to the end.
You were closer than you thought.
Yes, very close to the end. Which I was trying to beat it before Cyberpunk, but whatever. I just after that, and I started playing it this morning. It was like I knew I needed to fix up the ship, and that would be in the end game. But like I had found the resources very quickly, and it was like, "Yep, you're in the end game. Go!" And it went by really fast. And overall, I am very, very pleased, very, very happy with this game. I still think the resource gathering thing, it's not the best. I don't think it's bad. It's like it's not like this terrible thing that you have to waste so much time with. But it's not the most engaging thing. You go to the different areas in this world, and like it was a good excuse to explore this world for a while. When you get to the very end, you stop getting like story things, and you stop getting as much unique dialogue, and it's more like, okay, you got to go clean up all the areas that you haven't done yet. Yeah. And it got to be there was at least probably like a 2 hour or an hour and a half span or something of like, not much is going on. I'm just collecting things, which that was a little bit of a bummer, but it wasn't enough to like, completely frustrate me too much. Yep. And the story, I was very happy with the ending.
Good. The romantic drama and all that kind of shit stood up the whole time.
It absolutely did. I think the ending is like more of a subdued kind of like low key ending, which I think was perfect for this game. Mm-hmm. But not to say that there was some pretty surprising like sci-fi backdrop to this. Like the questions that they asked, I was not expecting, and I was.
All I think what you're saying, Darby, is that there was no god in the center of the planet that came out, and they had to kill it.
I can confirm that Sephiroth did not come out of the center of the planet.
One being able to just start in the middle.
Can you imagine if they're like, "Wait, what's that?" Doom, doom, doom. Like, shit.
Every game's gonna have a Sephiroth secret boss battle now.
He could be lurking around any corner. So I recommend this game. I think you would definitely like this game. It's not for everyone. You have to definitely be into this relationship and everything, but it's unique in a lot of ways because like it's a game that's like the premise is not going to be too big, and we're just going to focus on these two characters and their relationships, and there's like so many just small little moments that happen all the time that like really endear you to these characters. So like definitely two of my favorite characters of the year. Nice. And it was just it was one of the best video game romances I've seen, because there's a lot of like not great video game romances.
Yeah, I feel like generally we say like generally there's not a lot of great video game blank like story stuff. I feel like we're getting better with that stuff.
100%. Yeah.
Generally, people would disagree and say there's no good video game story, anything related. I'm like, you people are wrong.
Especially at this point. I mean, it's just like.
But I'm glad you're hold up. About how long did it take you to finish it? I'm just curious.
I need to look. Does the Xbox Game Pass app track your playtime? Because I know Steam does, but I haven't seen it. It at least doesn't show it very clearly there. I think the save file might show.
Yeah,
I'm gonna guess a little over 10 hours.
Okay.
That's what I would guess is around 10 hours.
So Derby, was it worth was it again good enough for all the press it got in all these events? It being in like we were watching the game where it's like, man, West Haven. Then it showed up. We're like, yay!
I think so. I mean, like, there's a decent chance that it wouldn't have been on my radar enough for me to play it if it wasn't for us talking about. We talked about it a lot just because it was so funny that it was there.
I have the Xbox thing open. I want to check out Call of the Sea.
Yeah. I want to play that with Jenny.
Okay, yeah.
She would enjoy that. My sister. Yeah.
If you... I don't know what to be the... I guess you could take your laptop over there. I was going to suggest if it's on the console one, you could take my Xbox over there if you're okay with doing that. If that'd be simpler.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, glad Haven's gonna be good. Like, I'm just glad to hear sometimes these indie games that are everywhere just, don't always turn out as well as we thought.
Yeah.
But luckily, and it's not just you, I've seen people like Haven. I'm very curious of how well Haven sold and everything, because again, the fact that it has been everywhere, and so most people are aware of the game's existence, or at least recognize the game at this point.
Yeah, it seemed like it had the chance to like sell well enough for it. Like, I'm sure its budget was like very low.
Though I guess the sales thing is hard because Game Pass is.
Yeah. At the very least, I hope this like gets these people on the map, this dev and these like, because I'm very, very interested to see what they do next writing wise. Because like, I mean, this was an indie game that like bit off just the perfect amount. It's like it was very simple, but they just focused on their writing chops for the most part when it came to this game. That was interesting. I know I looked at their Twitter. I don't think they had like too many followers or too many any of that. Not that Twitter followers directly equate to like, I don't think this game has to sell very much to be a success and at least get eyes on them. But it probably will go a little under the radar this year. And the game has problems. It's not like a slam dunk 10 out of 10 like gameplay wise, especially, but very worthwhile experience. I was super glad I didn't let this pass me by, because if I went into next year, I probably would have never played this game. I probably would have kind of forgotten about it, and I'm really glad I did. Yeah,
I kind of say this at some point. I just need to make a continuing list of games that I have access to just for the backlog. So it's there to keep in mind. It's like, okay, I have some time. What will be good now? And then obviously I'll add Haven to that list, and it being 10 hours. Probably a good one to try to fit in.
That's what every now and then I'll just look into like all the games that I've talked about playing, and I'll just kind of pick a random one that speaks to me in that moment and go for it. It's like,
I have way too many of those, so some of the times it's been obvious which ones to pick.
But that's what I did even with like Shantae. I was like, been meaning to play this. I don't know a ton about it. I think I might like it. It was like, but I want these jolly vibes, and it's short. Let's just do it. And it was like, great decision. So, Haven, play it.
Haven. We'll see where it ends up on Darby's in tier list.
Shall see.
Okay, moving on to the 2021 games, Darby. Fuck 2020 games. They're irrelevant.
Just fuck 2020.
I mean,
in general, the whole dang game.
I mean, again, we've said multiple times, video games are like the one nice thing. The actual game, may not video game discourse, but video games themselves.
Yeah, no, I will honestly say video games are always a good escape, but I have felt the need for that escape more this year than a lot of years, and it's been that has been nice. That part has been nice. But that being said, that's the past.
Yeah, even though we'll be talking about 2020 games.
That's all we're going to be talking about in like a week or two. But for right now, 2020 is dead. Long live 2021.
Yep.
How you feeling, just before we get on this journey, how you feeling looking at this 2021 game list? Just very, very quickly. Very quickly.
There are a lot of games. There are a lot of games I'm interested in playing when we get to our anticipated list. It will become more evident. But I guess what I can say is there aren't like as many games, at least compared to last year, probably compared to the years before, where there's not as many games I'm like, I need to play this now kind of thing.
Yeah.
There are a couple of those for sure, but I feel like there's not as many, and some of those aren't necessarily as strong as the other ones for like, again, compared to last year. But like when we look at 2018, I remember that list, and our lists were not like big or that. I think I had Digimon Survive, which will it be a three-peat? Like at number 3 or something.
Right.
Going into
2018.
Yeah, like at that point, Celeste was on my radar. God of War didn't even make my list.
Right. 2018, especially for us, had some like hidden gems, whether like they were just small, we didn't know about it, or like freaking Red Dead, you didn't know you were going to play that a month before it came out, and then it's
Smash we didn't know existed.
Right,
Astrobot we didn't know it existed.
And I think 2021 is a prime year for I think there's a lot of things that are hiding under the surface right now because it's a combination of consoles just came out and people are like preparing for that, and we just had a global pandemic for a year. I think there's probably a lot of properties that are like potentially further on than we know, and they just haven't announced yet because everything's in flux a lot. I mean, that being said, I think 2021 will probably be a slightly lighter year, at least in comparison to like, I think we got spoiled with 2017 and 2018, honestly. I think 2019 was a little weaker. 2020 has some big giant hitters, but overall, it's like the less of the quantity. And I think 2021 is going to be closer to 2020 in that regard. But that being said, whenever we were going into this episode and I would just like started thinking about 2021 games, I was like, it's not that like there's really not that many that like I'm really excited for. But then when you laid these all out, I'm like, okay, this is better than I was I was thinking. Like there are some games while it's less of like you said, these are like slam dunks. There's a number of games here where I'm like, okay, I'm very interested. I'm very interested to see where this goes.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna go through this list. We're gonna generally talk about like how we think the game quality is gonna be, how we think it might sell commercially, and that kind of stuff. For as far as expectations, and generally like our own excitement level for it, like whether we're gonna get it and all that kind of shit. Yep.
Yes.
Okay, I got these first just in the dates that they come out, and then we just have some vague stuff, and those will be in alphabetical order. I'm sorry I forgot some big ones. There was a chance to have. I tried to look at multiple lists to make sure I didn't forget anything.
We're only human.
Yep. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game complete edition, January 14th.
I love the versus the world, the game.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, did you ever play Scott Pilgrim back in the day?
I think I messed around with it.
Yeah, I played it some at like a friend's house, and it's a very good game. It's not like I'm probably not going to jump into this, but it is cool to.
Wasn't it like a weird thing that it was taken off the store because of some right issues, and now it's back? So
for a while you couldn't get it at all.
Yeah, so I think this game's going to sell pretty well, especially for a port.
Is this on the Switch? Because that would be like very big for it.
Guess not already. No. Let me just let's see. Sorry, I'm just going to bring it up just so when you ask those questions, I'll be ready.
Yeah, it's just, I know Scott Pilgrim has had a troubled history with the, it was a cult classic, but then they were not available for purchase at all, so it's cool. It's kind
of the Wikipedia thing. It's pretty much in the order that we're going to do this.
Way easier to get a hold of.
Yep, it's on everything.
Nice.
Pretty much.
Very good.
You've been on Stadia.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Let's see. Hitman 3, January 20th. Let's go, baby.
Take it away, Jeff.
Yep. Yeah, I got this pre-ordered. I got it from Target when they had a buy two, get one free deal. Unfortunately, they took away my Chris Tail thing because I've missed the email about the date changing, so they canceled it because I didn't say I still want it. Some dumb bullshit. But they kept part of the discount, so I'm still getting it cheaper. So
okay.
So got that.
Yeah.
Got the PS4 version because that's the only version you can play VR. Oh wait a minute.
So you don't get the PS5 version?
Oh wait, no, I might want to change it. Because
if you get the PS5,
if the PS5, you get the PS4 version, but I don't think it's reversed.
Yeah, you should change that.
I should change that because this is going to be a game where I'm going to obviously play in VR, but I'm also definitely going to be playing it in non-VR.
Yeah,
switch it back and forth, and I want the best version when I'm not playing VR.
It's so dumb that you have to do that.
Yeah,
you have to download it 2 full versions of the game.
Yes, I
right?
do. Yeah, I got my little PSVR dongle, so I am ready for that game. I am excited. We are obviously going to do a stream of that VR goodness.
Hell yeah!
And us being completely incompetent.
I hope it's good. I hope the VR section. I mean, like I hope it's because like it sounds buck wild to make this whole game, and then it's like it's all playable in VR. Isn't even the older ones playable?
Yes, every mission in this trilogy is playable in VR.
That screams Skyrim VR. Like we didn't actually like take the time to make this work. We just threw VR and something. So I hope it won't. So I'm just saying that's
like I had that slight worry when it's first announced, but then just kind of thinking about it, it's like no, they had to make this first person and all that and do everything. So that instantly had to do a lot more work than Skyrim did.
Yes, it did. It did.
So I have faith in that, especially since Sony seems to be help funding this, like especially for exclusivity, because this is not on the PC version of the game. Yeah. At least at launch. I hope it is going to be added to PC because, you know, just one of the things, there's no reason it shouldn't be. Right. Just kept on PSVR.
You haven't really played through 1 or 2, have you?
I played some of 1. Didn't get through the whole thing. I'm play for more. I'm getting 2 from my mom for Christmas. Like, hey, this is on sale. You want to give me something? Can you get this? So I had the whole trilogy.
I think one of them was on PlayStation Plus. You might want to check.
1 was,
okay.
Which I already had a copy of. Okay. So
I mean, it's not like the story matters. Obviously, I know you're gonna want to jump right into that VR and stuff. I don't think like jumping into Hitman 3 would be a problem whatsoever. I
don't care about the story.
No one cares about. They don't care about the story. Yeah. It's goofy, you know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now just step in. Okay, this level looks interesting. Boop.
Yeah. Yep. Exciting.
Yep. And as we talked about before, I'm hoping this is the last one of the trilogy without some shakeups, because this is the 3rd one in about 5-ish years.
Yeah,
I think so.
Well, now, I mean, yeah, this is the grand finale.
True.
Freaking 007, let's go.
That is true. I forgot about that for a second. Yeah, that's a good way to go away from Hitman to something. Okay. Yeah. Cyber Shadow.
Is this the Yacht Club game?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Not developed. Published.
Right. Yes, published.
I knew you did.
I just don't know the name
for the
of
people.
the studio that is one man that made this.
This looks damn good.
It looks very good.
And on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So we'll probably try to give it a shot at some point.
Yeah, I'm just so like the story behind it is crazy. Just the fact that this one guy's been making this game for like 7 years and it looks cool. And Yacht Club games are just awesome, and it's really cool that they picked this up.
And it's January 26th, just in the case I did not say it. And
it's definitely like 2D, like cyberpunky ninja type of thing or whatever. I mean, is it more like Ninja Gaiden or Metroidvania, or like a combination of all these things? Like, I'm not
sure how that structures the game. To be honest, I've seen some of the trailers, but haven't dug too deep into it.
It's somewhere in that vein, in that kind of broad vein, but. It looks cool.
Yeah. And on the gate. Disgaea 6 Defiance of Destiny. That's some anime ass shit right there, baby. Might be a Japan only thing right now. Then, because I feel like I remember seeing Disgaea 6 is supposed to be coming out later for the West. So that might be unfortunate.
I mean, Japan only for coming out this early.
Yeah.
We've definitely gotten a trailer with it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That release date is for Japan only. I'm sorry, we can move on then.
Sad.
But Disgaea is one of those games like I might like it.
Yeah.
But
there are 5 previous games.
Indeed. Galgan, no. The Medium, January 28th. Got pushed back. I'm excited for this game. On Game Pass, I'm playing this game.
Yeah, I'm very, very, very interested in this game. Or whatever. This is definitely one that like I want to see reviews for, because it's a very like it's a very unique thing. Like
what they're doing is very unique.
Yeah, what they're going for is very unique in a way that could make it stand above a lot of things, or it also could like kind of falter because it's trying to do something very different. Which, if you not familiar with this game, it's basically like a horror game where there's your character is like in 2 different planes of reality, so it's like a split screen thing down the middle, and you're controlling. You see the character in both worlds, and there's things that are happening in this like supernatural world that impact the real world and vice versa. And like that's a really cool premise, and it's like immediately you start thinking of a bunch of like crazy things they could do with that. It's just not going to be easy. That's going to be a hard game to develop and make, sing. But I think I would be down for this game even if it doesn't hit 100% of the time. I just appreciate what it's going for, and I think
I mean, if the reviews are outright terrible, then like I probably wouldn't bother. But I mean, again, if it's like in the 70 range, but he was like, yeah, the stuff it's doing is completely unique and there's very cool moments, but it doesn't always hit the mark per se. I'd be like, okay, I'll still give it a try.
I would rather, they're swinging for something.
Yeah. Again, it's on Game Pass, so.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I've been most bummed about a lot in the last few years in video games, is just feel like games don't try things enough. And I respect that, especially in a horror genre or horror. A lot of horror just gets old to me. This feels different, which is Very exciting.
Plus Troy Baker, so it's an actual video game.
I didn't even know, but I could have guessed.
Yep. Outriders, February 2nd. Oh, I guess go back to the Medium just real quick.
Shall we move on?
How do you think Medium's going to do, like, as far as, like, sale-wise, you think?
My instinct is to say not great. I know that's cynical and bad. It's really hard to be a new IP coming out and doing any of this. And
I think it actually do decent. Yeah. It's gotten. I mean, it doesn't work for all games, obviously, but it's gotten that Microsoft marketing push is like a next gen thing.
Yeah.
And the trailers seem to actually be impressing people, where it's not like a Godfall thing where people are like, oh, this. For a lot of people, it seems like Medium's like, oh, okay, that looks interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I could totally see it. I'm not saying it's doomed.
Obviously, word of mouth will, be the difference maker.
I think it needs some really good word of mouth. Like, I think if it comes out and it's like, it's pretty good, but it misses some, like 7.5, 8 range or whatever for me and you, that will be good enough. But I think it'll struggle to like catch a lot of public perception if that. But I also don't know what development, like how much it.
Yeah, and again, the Game Pass factor.
Yeah, which that's very big. That's a very big deal too.
Yeah, so a lot of people will probably be trying it out. Outriders, February 2nd. This is that Square Enix game that looks pretty mediocre. I want to say about this. I can't even remember what the game necessarily exactly plays like. I know I've seen it, and we're looking generic at hell. I think we can safely say reviews are going to be probably mediocre at best, and this thing's not going to sell well.
No.
Okay.
I agree.
Little Nightmares 2, February 11th. Let's go, baby. This is obviously day one. We're going to be playing / streaming that shit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm instantly... I need to play Little Nightmares 1. I'm very interested in it, but I'm instantly more interested in this because me and you can play it together. I mean, I think that's just a slam dunk. That is just so great.
Yeah. I recommend Little Nightmares 1 in general because it's a great game. But obviously... not something you need to play before we do it. Like, if we get to the point and you just haven't played it, no reason to still not jump in.
Yeah, I think we need to hold our playthrough for that. Yeah.
But I am very excited. I'm just wondering, like, what system I can get on. Should get it on more than anything. It's on Switch, which is always a nice thing, but I guess I might as well go for, like, the PS4 version.
Yeah, it's not like you're not going to be playing this handheld or whatever. It's like we can get it on the screen, better looking version. Yeah,
we'll do that. But, I imagine this thing's going to do well. Because Little Nightmares did well. I have no reason to believe this will. I think
this has a chance of doing better. I think the multiplayer thing is just such a good idea for this, and I could see this being a stream game a little bit, not like a huge set the world on fire stream game, but I could see it,
I'm actually something I didn't really think about. I wonder if it's online co-op.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if they've said it or not or anything. I haven't really worried about it because we're just gonna play it together. Right. But with the way things are right now, that's one of those things that
I
can
hope
really.
It does. I hope it does. That would be big for it. Yeah.
But I'm excited. Those trailers have looked great so far. And there's a demo out I haven't played yet. It might be gone now because on the Jeff Keighley thing. Okay. Which, if it has, so be it. I mean, I'm getting this game anyway.
We're going to play this game.
Well, I'm getting this game.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that much.
Even if you opt out the last second, I'm getting this game.
No, I'm in. I'm in. Yeah.
I'm excited for it. Speaking of another game we might play together, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, February 12th.
Bowser's Fury. I don't know why I love that every time I hear it. It's just, he's mad. He's mad about something.
I don't know where I should have my expectations for this.
For like how new it'll be? Or
how much new stuff will be. Because I've played it before and it's great. At least from the prospect of me replaying again, playing with you and you and other people will be a different experience at the very least. So I think that'll be worth it alone.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about the new content. The fact, again, they're putting the plus Bowser Fury in the actual title of the game gets me a little more hope.
It feels like that's substantial because Nintendo has done many re-releases with a few extra things, and they've never been like, because it's partially the plus Bowser's Fury, and it's also like the way they announced that, because it was like, hey, we're bringing back 3D World. It's like, okay, yeah, cool, that should come to the Switch. Good idea. And then they're like, okay, trailer's over. Or is it? Bowser is like showed like a new world with all this other stuff. They definitely made it feel like it's at least like a DLC's worth of stuff, like an add-on thing. Like it's probably not going to be like a multiple hour thing, but at least like hour or two at the minimum.
Yeah. I am. Yeah. Again, I am hoping. What was I about to say? I can't remember.
Exciting though. Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very exciting.
And underrated game, obviously. It should
compared to other Mario games. Yeah. I mean, there's just some people that just consider it just not good. I'm like, y'all crazy.
It's mostly people who probably didn't or barely played it. But.
Yeah. Persona. Oh wait, I remember what I was going to say. As far as like adding on to the hope of Bowser Fury being substantial is the fact it took this long to get a 3D World port.
Yeah, that
it makes you think that okay, maybe they developed this a good bit.
Yeah,
decent bit.
It definitely started to get to the point where it's like, okay, I guess we're just not getting this, huh?
Yeah. Persona 5 Strikers February 23rd. Let's go, baby. I'm ready for it.
I don't think I'm playing this game. I think I'm watching it on YouTube, but we'll see. It'll not just reception. I need to like practically spoil myself on like the gameplay and everything about this game because like chances are I won't like it. I just really hate Muso games, and I really don't want to have spent money on this game to play it for an hour and be like, nope.
You need to play my copy.
Yeah, I will probably play your copy, realize I don't like it, and then watch it on YouTube. So my excitement level is near zero for the game, for the gameplay. The expansion of Persona 5 is more exciting for me.
I'm all for it. I enjoy me a good Muso. This seems to be, based on what people have actually played, saying just from footage, more action RPG-ish in comparison to Hyrule Warriors, which I just played. So I'm curious to see how exactly that feels and how different it is and all that. And yeah, obviously excited for more Persona story stuff and all that. I'm very like, I think there's a good chance you just don't like the gameplay, but I'm curious because again, just from what I've seen other people say, there is a chance. Like, I don't think it's going to be your favorite game ever, but just the way the game's structured and everything, I could see it potentially being enough to get you enjoyed enough to get through it.
Yeah, absolutely good. But I'm also very skeptical and hesitant on the story too, just partially because Persona 5 was just a very, very good story and whatever, and like had that, and it's just, I mean, like Atlas in general and a lot of these, like, they are not at all afraid of taking, this had a really good story, but we're going to do this spin-off thing that just goes off the freaking rails, and it's like nowhere near the quality of that, but it's like, just throw spaghetti at the wall. And like, I worry that I'll be going through this and it's like, okay, this does not have the care that Persona 5 had in the writing. And, like similar to a Hyrule Warriors, I know it's not going to be that much of a fan service, like bullshit, like crazy thing, but I'm worried that it'll feel like this feels like fan fiction in a way like that. I am not convinced that I'm going to love the story either, but more convinced about that. I mean, the story is the only thing making me interested in this game, clearly. But we'll see. There's definitely a better chance for this than Hyrule Warriors, for sure.
I'm curious to see how it sells. With the success of Hyrule Warriors, I don't expect it to sell as much because Breath of the Wild just sold a lot more than Persona 5.
Absolutely not. But I still expect it to sell like at least over 1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we could. I mean, I'm not going to do it now. We could look at numbers in Japan and maybe see how it's done there and all that. But sale wise, but yeah, people are hungry for this game, and like, I feel like there are people more hungry for this game than necessarily Hyrule Warriors. At least in the circle we kind of look at.
Yeah, I mean that's objectively not true just in the number of people who buy it.
No. Like in our
in our circles, there's more hype. It feels like the hype is more palpable.
Again, I don't think it's get the Hyrule Warriors number, but enough to do well. Yeah.
It will not.
I know.
Yeah.
You don't suddenly get the long tenure, like the long-standing Koei Tecmo company doesn't get their best-selling game and then immediately gets their next best-selling game right afterwards. No.
You'd be getting in the territory of Persona 5 Strikers outselling Persona 5, which would be like the most depressing thing on earth to me.
Yeah, no, it's not happening. I think the potential like Fire Emblem Warriors numbers a little above that is the likely point. I think that broke 1 million. Might be wrong. Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection February 25th. The more I sit on this game, the more I'm like, there are people that will kind of like it, but it'll be forgotten by the end of the year and not sell well, I don't think.
To be fair, I think that would have happened even if it was a good Ghosts and Goblins port.
Yeah.
It did everything the way people like it. I still think it's just a niche enough thing that I don't think people would be talking about it. But on top of that, the art style is not really what people want. So
I guess...
I mean, kind of cool that you can play Ghosts and Goblins on Switch in any form, but it's not a game I want to play because I don't hate myself.
Yeah.
From a difficulty standpoint.
Bravely Default 2, February 26th.
Game looks bad. Demo, everyone says is bad. The Bravely Default games didn't necessarily, especially after the first one, didn't sell a bunch anyway, so I expect this to also bomb.
First one sold over 1 million, I think, which is good for...
I should have said Bravely second, basically.
Yeah.
I don't think it sold very much. I don't expect this game to do anything for many people.
No.
I just don't think this is it.
I think we'll hear a decent amount of people try it, at least, like... we'll hear impressions from Easy Allies 100%. Yeah. I'm curious to see where they fall on it, but even their impressions for the demo haven't been great.
The best reception level I see this getting is like a Ni no Kuni 2, where a lot of people bounce off of it, but there's a few people that are like, no, this is actually good, and I actually really like this. But I think across the board, it's going to be like it's nowhere near the first one.
Yeah. I can't remember. What were the last Octopath numbers we heard? Weren't those pretty good?
I think so.
Yeah.
It had a lot of Nintendo press and backing, which I think helped
even
a lot.
this
and I think the Steam it going to Steam helped a lot.
That's
too.
true. Yeah, 100%. Good game.
Beautiful game.
Oh yeah, beautiful soundtrack. Destruction All Stars. Just a nebulous February. I guess we know about when it will launch. I imagine it'll be at the very beginning of February when the PlayStation Plus games get updated.
Yes. Trajectory of how this game is going to do completely changed once we get on to PlayStation Plus.
We expected this game to bomb completely when it was to be a lot. No,
for $70 at launch, it would have.
But now this will be a game people at least talk about for a couple of days.
Yeah,
good or bad.
I don't think it's going to be something insanely crazy, but I think you'll at least have a week of people saying I had a lot of fun with my friends doing this, and that might not last a long time, but I see there being a blip in the radar where it's one of the most talked about things for a week. That's about where I see it.
Yeah, I can see it having a decent following because of this if the gameplay is actually good.
Yeah,
depending how it is, if people have enough fun with it, it's actually a quote unquote competitive, viable game or whatever. I can see it kind of building a little something like that.
Which it's pulling in a little grain of nostalgia for me because on the PS2 I played a lot of this Destruction Derby game. Mm-hmm. It was just it was kind of like this. This was a way more polished version of that. Of your competitive matches where you're just destroying each other's cars in this giant arena. And so there's a little bit of nostalgia there for me, and I've learned as I've gotten older, all those games that I'm nostalgic for in PS2, there's a niche community out there that's starting to rise up that was also SpongeBob Alpha Bikini Bottom is one of those. Obviously Sly Cooper, Simpsons Hit and Run. As my generation is starting to get into the 20s and 30s age, you're starting to see more people be no, I actually I really love this shit. Yeah. So.
Skipping ahead to mid-ish March, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake, March 18th. I don't expect this to review or sell particularly well.
I could see it selling better than you think, because I think Prince of Persia was a pretty big series back in the day, and I think it's just not nearly to the same level, but it's kind of Crash sold a shit ton. Mm-hmm. I think Prince of Persia, there's a somewhat similar level of nostalgia to it. Again, nowhere near that number, but I think it'll sell. It'll chart, I believe. Even though I agree with you, I don't think it's going to review very well. I think it just looks like a way more low-effort remake than what we've been used to the last few years with games. And I don't think many people are going to be, super satisfied with this. Honestly. It looks old.
Unfortunately, there's a game in between this, or I could have had a nice transition with that. But Returnal on March 19th.
Yeah, just really does not do anything for me. I think the game looks good. It's just nothing for me.
I'm having trouble reading as far... Like, I mean, us, I know we're not interested in, but how it will be received and potentially sell. Part of that is because it is a PlayStation Studios game, even if it's... it's from Housemarque, which isn't owned by Sony, but it has that PlayStation Studios mark on it.
And they might, they'll put out ads and stuff for it.
Oh, yeah, and we're at the... I feel like in the last couple years, we've gotten to the point where there is a decent subset of players that see that PlayStation Studios mark and just buy it.
Yeah,
at this point,
I mean, it's becoming like people are recognizing that more in a way that they do with like Disney movies.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, it's Disney. I know nothing about it, but yeah, let's go. It's like they're starting. We're starting to get to that way with like, yeah,
and especially with it's a surprising. I know this is a completely different kind of game, but just with the surprising to me reception and sales of Days Gone, it's like,
right.
Who knows how this will sell? It obviously looks really nice. I don't know. I don't know how to like compare the budget to other PlayStation Studio games because like some of the stuff we've seen, like graphics and stuff look nice, but also looks more simple in ways.
Yeah, it's kind of it's smart, and Housemarque is a pretty smaller studio. It's one of those. There's sometimes you'll have like smaller games that will come out and like when you see like a vertical slice of it, you're like, how did this small team make this game? Because it looks beautiful, it looks stunning, it looks like a AAA game. And then when you play it, it's like, okay, the reason they were able to do that is because that's the one thing. It's like that setting looks beautiful, but that is the one setting. And like the environments all look that way. And it can still be a great game, but like Hellblade is kind of one of those that comes to mind. There's like in a lot of ways, Hellblade looks just as good or better than your God of Wars or your other like AAA games like that or whatever. But it is like one setting, and like the assets are like the same, and that is how they do that. And this, it looks like that to me.
Yeah. Very curious.
Yeah, I can't feel confident in anything. Like I don't feel great about it. So I just don't think it's gonna have that like unique hook that like breaks through for this new IP. But like I said, I also didn't think Days Gone was going to do super well.
Yeah, I think will help this game is the fact it is a PlayStation Studios game, so all the big like kind of funnies obviously going to be talking about it a lot. Easy Allies, they're going to have a couple chunks playing it just because of that logo on there. I'm not saying that's wrong or anything, but
and Housemarque knows how to make very good games.
And even if take away the PlayStation logo, a lot of those people will do the same because it is Housemarque, and their games are very well received.
But obviously, this is way different than anything Housemarque has put out before. So
we will see. Balan Wonderland.
I just heard Balan
Wonderland, March 26th. March 26th. There's a couple games on here, but this is the first one we're talking about.
This game just doesn't look very good to me.
When it had like a CG trailer, I was like, okay. Then it got to the gameplay part, I'm like, you're losing me a little bit. Like this, the general kind of game is obviously something I'm into, but I hate usually when people say, "Oh, it looks like a PS2 game." I'm not going to say it definitely does, but it looks more like that than a lot of games.
It has PS2 vibes.
Yeah, and not necessarily in the best way.
No, like
there's
the game looks like the controls would be infuriating and unresponsive. It just looks clunky.
Yeah,
It's just, I can't. I would be pretty surprised if this comes out and it's like, this is like great. I think
there will be a subset. I mean, unless the game just comes out and is absolutely terrible. Some people that are like, no, Balan Wonderland, really good.
If you were like a super big Knights fan, then this might check enough boxes for you, but probably not for me or you. I imagine.
But what it is for us is It Takes Two the same day,
baby.
Yeah, and that's one of those games like we're getting instantly.
Oh yeah, instantly.
We're playing / streaming that shit
instantly. Lock it in.
Yeah, because we really enjoyed or really liked playing A Way Out together and all that. And this is, as we talked about when we actually saw the gameplay trailer and stuff, an evolution of that kind of thing. Like we were worried when they were talking about this game originally, the that it may not be the split screen thing like A Way Out was, which we really enjoyed and thought it was a really cool idea. But no, they kept that idea and just went more bonkers with the actual game itself. Like, you watch that, I've seen that trailer multiple times now, and just looking at all the different kind of settings, all the stuff you're doing, it's like, this has a variety of shit. Again, A Way Out was awesome for what it is, but it is just people.
It really does feel like A Way Out walked to this game can run. I know it's one trailer, but it was a hell of a trailer, and it looks like this game plays great. I mean, it looks almost like a like Sackboy, like we're talking about. It looks like that level of platformer where I'm like, these environments are changing all the time. The puzzles they're doing and everything are changing all the time. It just looks like a very well fleshed out game. Whereas A Way Out focused more on this intense story thing that's sometimes missed and everything. I like what this game is going for more. Well,
and like we were talking about with the medium, even if it's not hits 100% of the time, the fact that it's different enough from everything else that as long as it hits most of the time, that is great.
Yeah, and I'm more interested in this story than The Way Out. And I'm not trying to shit on The Way Out. I really enjoy it, but it's like the whole the thing with this being the husband and wife are getting a divorce, and this is the child's imagination they somehow fall into, and they have to work their differences out in this crazy magical thing with the Book of Love and that voice and everything. It seems like it's going to be a legitimately funny game, which comedy is hard to do in games sometimes,
and maybe it's a little heartwarming game. It could do both, and I feel very good about this one.
I am right there with you.
Booyah. Monster Hunter Rise, same day, March 26th.
It's going to sell very well.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, I think it's going to play really well too. But I just think the first thing when I look at that game, I see dollar signs.
I'm very curious. Going into this one again with the rumor of a Switch Monster Hunter was coming out. It's like, okay, how's this going to be compared to World? And it's obviously graphics downgrade. But
it looks expected it to slot back into what Monster Hunter used to be.
Yeah.
Which is very big in Japan and kind of more niche here. And it was I expected the style that a new Monster Hunter game on Switch was going to would not be appealing to a lot of people the new people who came on board the World. I was even though Monster Hunter is in a very big spot and World 2 or whatever is going to sell like crazy, I didn't expect a new Monster Hunter Switch thing to appeal to those people, and I think I'm wrong. Now, after seeing Rise, I'm okay, no, World fans are going to jump to this.
I feel again, besides graphic fidelity and all that kind of shit, this looks from a gameplay perspective, anything more of a sequel to World than I definitely originally thought a Switch Monster Hunter game was going to be at this point.
100%.
And I'm happy that they decided okay, let's put all this effort into the Switch only game for right now. Though I think there are some rumors it might be going to PC at some point, which would be huge.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Might have been some leak about that. So
very good. Yeah, because I do still have very real concerns about how this is gonna run, because it looks like witchcraft. This does not look like a Switch game.
Yeah, but a mixture between the way it looks and the fact that when playing with friends again to do the Switch online shit. Yeah. All that together could lead to the problems. We'll see. Luckily, we got a demo coming next month.
Yeah, which is very good.
Yeah, we'll be able to test that out.
We definitely need to jump in that.
Yeah. So I am very interested to see how this game again, like you said, it's going to sell bonkers. Obviously, and again, not as much as World. That's Capcom's best-selling game ever.
I mean, even World 2 might not sell as much as World. I mean, it probably will, but it might not, because World was a moment. It was it just kept on selling, and Iceborne obviously helped a lot too. Yeah, and obviously me and you aren't quite as big on World as some other people. I think it has some pretty glaring problems, but just playing through the story, I had a very good time. And even if that's all I get in here and I don't play it for hours and hours and hours past the ending like a lot of people do, I would still be satisfied. I'm totally down to jump in here with you and Alex and
Jacob showed interest as well.
So yes, and we didn't get to play World with Jacob very much, so it'll be fun.
Yep. Guilty Gear Strive, April 9th.
Yeah, I definitely, this will definitely be a fun fighting game to just play with y'all. I think you are a lot more excited about this than I am.
Yeah, I'm definitely a lot more interested, but it's just with every game going on, it's probably gonna be hard for me to justify paying the $60 for this right away.
We just don't play fighting games enough, really. Like,
yeah, like I dabble in it, but like I don't dabble in fighters as much as I want to, even with the DLC. Like I mess around with it sometimes, but it's hard to find the time.
That's a lot more your shit,
yeah,
targeted towards you than like Guilty Gear, because we don't really have a history with Guilty Gear. I mean, whenever we played Blaze Blue, like I had a very good time. I was like, okay, I get it. I get why people talk about Blaze Blue all the time.
Yeah.
And like now that's just carried over to just Arc System Works in general. Like they don't make a single game that there's not like a good following, because it's like they should make good games.
Yeah.
And especially like from a visual standpoint, somehow we talked about Dragon Ball FighterZ doesn't age. It's never going to look bad, which it's not. But this is the closest thing to trying to make Dragon Ball FighterZ look bad, because like this game looks stunning.
Yeah. I think with the graphics for Arc System Works, like when we look back at Dragon Ball FighterZ, I don't think it'll ever look bad. No. But I think it will. We'll say, yeah, it like they have upgraded. Yeah. But yeah, we're not gonna look at it like, oh no, this just looks bad.
But this game visually looks stunning for a fighting game. It's crazy. Yep. Those animations are great. And I think this will be a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
It's not going to be fighters. Probably nothing Art ever makes will be. But
yeah, it's a best-selling game for sure, easily.
Yeah, I would be shocked if it wasn't.
Yeah. Near Replicant version 1.2247487139 ... Comes out April 23rd. Let's go, baby. You know I'm getting this day one. You know it. Yeah, very excited for this. Absolutely big fan of Nier Automata. You can see my 2B up there. Video people. But yeah, just I mentioned to you multiple times. There's some people that play both that prefer the story of the original, so that gets me excited. Even if I don't agree, it's better than Automata. Yeah. But even if it's close to that, great.
Then we're off to the race.
It seems to be a step up from combat from the original version. I'm curious to see what kind of crazy stuff Yoko Taro comes up to, because they pretty much, there is new stuff. We know, at least in Japan, 9S's and 2B's voice actors are going to be in this game. Yes. Just give me all that wacky, crazy anime bullshit.
Do it. Let's do it.
This game's a slam dunk to me, obviously.
And I do think it'll sell pretty well too, just because after Automata. Yeah. It's not going to sell, I don't think it's going to sell Automata numbers just because it's a remake and everything.
Well,
and doesn't have 2B in it, which I don't even know if an Automata sequel will happen, number one, or will have those characters, number two. But
yeah. I don't know. But I think the original Nier, if I think I saw recently, if I'm not mistaken, only sold 500,000.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so it will pass that day one.
Yes.
It might pass that now with pre-orders.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
There's no question about that, but the original Nier was a failure, so that's that's not really the bar. I mean, this is going to be a success. It's just like, how high will it fly? Yeah. That's the
couple mil at least, I'd imagine.
That's what I would go to.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would say like 2 mil at least.
Yeah, and even then we could be like surprised, because to a lot of Nier fans, this is a new game, and just looking at it, you wouldn't necessarily think that this is an old game.
No,
like just the way it looks. Yeah,
it just looks like it's a modern Nier game.
Like I think this will be one of those games. Maybe not as much, because it's not going to be as a high profile thing necessarily, but one of the quote unquote gold standards for remakes. Like we put it up there.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yep. So let's go, and me and Jacob will probably do a multi-hour spoiler cast.
Please do. I loved listening to the last one, even though I never played the game.
Hood Outlaws and Legends, May 10th.
I will say this is one of the many 4-player PvE co-op game, things like that. I will say, like, all the trailers have just been bad and very, 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 very generic.
Yeah.
The brief gameplay they showed, like Game Awards, they finally showed some like gameplay. Like me and Alex both thought, it's like, this looks fun. It looks fun enough. I don't think it's going to set the world on fire. It's not something I'm certainly not going to go like pay $60 for or anything like that. But I was like, I mean, all of those games, it's like, this looks like a fun version of that game, even if it's not setting the world on fire. So, I don't want to like laugh it off as much as we always have been, because like the cinematic trailers are bad, but the game doesn't look terrible, But that's about the best I can say for it.
Yep. Not much more to add.
Back 4 Blood's going to eat its lunch just this year with that type of game.
We're not there yet, Darby. We got a game in between. Deathloop, May 21st. The Xbox Game Studio game that's exclusive to the PlayStation.
Is it weird that this game is still so much of a question mark to me, even though I feel like we've seen it a lot? It's like...
No, I think that's fine. just because we've seen the gameplay hook, but it's one of those things we just don't know like how it's going to actually be implemented throughout a full game and actually feel.
That's what I mean. Maybe it's just a very hard game to like really show up. I feel like I've seen this game a lot and know a decent bit about it, and I still don't really know what the game is, and I don't even feel like it's their fault. It's just like I don't know. Like people need to get their hands on this game, I guess.
Yeah. The style of it's great, and I'm, what they're showing, it looks interesting. I'm interested in this game. I'm not going to shell out $60 for it. No, but again, we don't know how it's going to work, as far away at launch, as far as now Bethesda or going to be owned by Microsoft. It was on Game Pass day one. I'm going to give it a shot. Yeah. For sure.
But it might not be because it still has that PlayStation exclusivity deal.
Well, it's going to be on PC day one.
I know, but it still could. Like, we don't know for sure. Yeah. Like, I would like for that to be announced and we know, but... Well, you said, style and everything, but, like, this game worries me in the sense that I think expectation and reality might be in two different places. I'm not even talking about the quality of the game, but just what the game is. Like, I feel like if this game comes out and it's a lot more like multiplayer, like centric, at least to have fun or something with it, I feel like there's a group of people that are going to be disappointed. It's just like the confusion around it might go to its detriment just in its reception in some ways, but I don't know.
Guess we will find out. But what we know is definitely big on multiplayer is Back 4 Blood, June 22nd. I know you are definitely excited for that game. I'm excited to play it with you guys too. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. Like, based on the previews and stuff we've seen, because people have played the alpha and everything, or the impressions from that is they know this is pretty much a Left 4 Dead 3, and that's all it needs to be.
Yeah. And like, I'm not like a Left 4 Dead fanatic. I didn't play like a ton, but like what I did play, I had fun. It's like Back 4 Blood is not going to be something that, like, when we get to the end of the year 2021 in the list, we're probably not going to like put it super high or be like telling you all this, but it's like it's going to be a fun time. Like every time we play that, we're going to have a fun night, and it's going to be for however long that lasts. I'm down. No, it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And as far as sales, again, based on what it looks like and what I've seen from some impressions, I think this game will do well.
Now that I've seen, especially, I think it was very smart to like have that beta thing immediate or whatever, like the streamer access thing they had or whatever. And now that I've seen like a lot of big name streamers getting on it, that's all I needed to see to be like, yep, this game's going to be a huge hit.
Yep.
It's like, as soon if they had that much interest in like big name streamers or whatever, when this comes out, this is going to be #1 on Twitch. It's going to be this thing's
slam dunk. Yeah,
it's going to sell and sell and sell and sell.
Yep.
And which is cool because we never got to see what a modern Left 4 Dead would look like, and they could keep supporting it. This is probably a game they can put out and then just keep putting out DLC and things like over and over again. It's like, it's like you said, slam dunk. I think it's going to be great.
Okay, we're out of the things with dates, so we got the more nebulous things. Got some general windows for some of this stuff, but 12 minutes was coming out this year around this time, but then just pushed back all of a sudden. Yes. None that we were surprised by the point. So we have no idea when it's coming out. This is one of those games.
We did get that star-studded cast announcement.
Yes, we did.
I'm about to gush all over this game and how much excited I am for it. I do think this game is kind of a prime example of like we know very little and our like expectations have kind of maybe started running rampant in the lack of information that happens a lot with video games. And I am slightly worried about all the hype that we're putting on the small team and the small game. That being said, the premise is very, very interesting.
Good voice cast.
And very good voice cast. It's obvious like money's being put into this and they know they have something that people are interested in. And Annapurna has a very good track record. So I'm confident.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I love Annapurna games, and this I feel like has a chance to be my favorite one of those because I always just like that first trailer and the premise I was just so interested in with the time loop Groundhog Day type thing. I don't know, it looks very cool to me.
Yeah. Very interested to see. Yeah, I think this
so in.
Yeah, I think this game's gonna be good. I think it's gonna sell well for whatever the well is for Annapurna games. and all that. I think it's going to be potentially one of those. If it lives up to the hype, it'll be one of those indie games that we see may not necessarily be up for Game of the Year, but once we see consistently, top 10 lists pretty consistently, including our own.
I just love Annapurna because like they don't we talk about innovation and people trying things. Like Annapurna does not put out boring run of the mill games. Like everything they do, they're like doing something interesting and different. That's cool.
Axiom Verge 2, apparently Q1.
We're just the wrong people, but I know it's very big.
Yep, I think this game is going to be Game of the Year for a decent chunk of people, at least be on the list. Going to sell bonkers forever an indie game is.
Yeah, relative to indie game, it's going to be a very big deal. Yep. Totally agree.
Next one, Chris Tales, first half of the year. I'm excited for hell for this one. Been waiting this one for a little while. Supposed to come out in November. Smartly got pushed back until sometime this year. Don't have an exact date, I don't believe. Obviously.
So remind people kind of the base, the gimmick, the like premise thing.
So it's like a love letter to all JRPGs is the one thing to get people excited, but it has a cool mechanic where the main character is like stuck in the present, past, and future. So the screen is divided by divided in 3 different parts.
Pee really quick while you do it.
Okay. The middle part where you're typically at is the middle or the present. The left side is the past, and the right side is the future. And as you're walking through the area, you see what the past and future is for the whole area and people. So you like walk by a mother and a son, and you see in the present, you see just the mom and little kid. You go to the past, and the mom's pregnant with the kid, and you go to the future, and the kid's all grown up, maybe with the mom there, maybe not there. I can't remember exactly what happened. And that also carries into the battle mechanics where you switch between the past and future and all that kind of stuff to do things like you can make an enemy a baby or something and just pump them out of there. Not really, but you can. One thing you did during a boss is make them wet, send them to the future, and they're all rusty. So very cool. I'm very excited for it. Where will it go on my list? I don't know. Anticipated list? Who knows? But definitely getting it. I think it's on everything at this point. Let me see there for you people while I wait for Darby. Gotta fill up time. Yeah, it's on everything. So based on what I saw, this looks like a game that should run fine on Switch. So I don't think people have to worry about that. So yeah. Let's see.
Sorry.
You good? Just finally started running. People say, Darby, where's your hype level for Chris Tales, if any?
Pretty high. I mean, I've mostly going off of you talking about it a bunch of times. I've seen it a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen enough to where like I've seen some of the things that you're talking about, but just like from zooming out, just the basic premise of what I know, I think it sounds very neat. I think it sounds like a very unique and interesting mechanic. And I want to hear how well it's implemented, but the whole like sliding the future and like that sounds very cool.
Art style's dope.
Sounds very cool. Yes, and I like the art style a lot too. Yeah,
let's go, baby. So
it's one that I've been meaning to look into, but also maybe I just shouldn't look into it. It's like maybe it'd be better than not.
Yeah, I'm planning on getting it. Probably a Switch physical copy, so you could just always play that.
Sweet. Yep. Yeah, that screams to me probably like a surprise. Like I'm not really into it. I don't talk about it in my anticipated or whatever, and then I play it and I'm like, oh shit. This is like one of the best games of the year. I could totally see that happening. Like Celeste was kind of that way.
Far Cry 6. Don't know when it's coming out necessarily. It had like was it a February or March one, got pushed back. Who knows when?
Probably spring sometime.
Yeah.
It's gonna sell well because they all do. Like the Far Cry is becoming like a Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed or something where people a lot like the gaming media talks about it less and less and cares less and less about it, but it continues to sell.
Yeah,
and I'm that way. I loved Far Cry 3. I really liked Far Cry 4. Primal was like ugh.
It was a game.
And then 5, it's just like they beat it to death, and like and to the point now where it's like I just don't even care. It's not on my list, which is crazy because I loved the 3.
Don't forget New Dawn existed.
And New Dawn, like it like I hate Ubisoft's philosophy as a company. I really do for the most part. By and large, I hate it. And they run things that like 3 is one of my favorite games of all time, and now I just don't even care that Far Cry 6 is coming out because it's just gonna be the same game.
Indeed.
So pretty pessimistic about it, even though I mean it's gonna sell.
Gotham Knights
also gonna sell. Very, very, very interested to see how this is received because it's a different take. Obviously, gameplay wise, than the Arkham games, but maybe less of a different take than people think. Yeah, because I don't think it's as hardcore a multiplayer co-op experience as maybe people. Yeah.
It's hard to remember the exact, but I do remember like when we hearing that both that and Suicide Squad were going to be games of service games. Like, oh god, multiplayer games of service. Like, why? Yeah. And then once we actually saw gameplay and more information for this game, it's like, okay, there is multiplayer in this, but yeah, like you saying, it looks like it's more of a solo thing than we thought, which makes me happy. Yeah, like I'm all up for playing this with friends, but just generally the style of game like this would be if it was just straight up multiplayer like Avengers or Suicide Squad gonna be at all times, just interests me less as a concept.
And this seems less like that. It's definitely a middle ground between those two, but it seems less like I mean, and even less. I got the vibe of less like, oh, I got legendary loot, and I'm gonna, dismantle this to get better loot and to get better. And like,
loot seems less effective too, which is great. The one thing that does worry me about this game is the fact that I think they said you can like if you wanted to just play as one character at all times. Yeah, which in my opinion is probably gonna hurt the story.
I expect the story to be kind of a letdown in comparison to the Arkham games. Yeah. And it's just like I struggled to see how it won't be because of that reason. Because it's like you're not going to be told a very tight, straight story if anyone, you could be playing anyone anytime. It's just going to feel more cookie cutter. Like he's going to have say a line that could reflect.
Honestly, with this game, like I get they want to do this. I'm fine if it's one of those weird things where like the cutscenes don't necessarily represent what you're playing as, where you're doing a cutscene and just all 4 of them are there or something, or that'd be weird and potentially jarring. But I feel like the game would come out better than a potential.
Maybe the answer should have been that like, if you don't have friends, they're just co-op. They're like computer AI partners or something. I don't know. I hope this wasn't supposed to be a single player game that Warner Brothers execs forced to be a multiplayer, because you do get the vibe with Suicide Squad and this that they're like multiplayer, and I really hope that's not the case, because that a lot of times when execs force things like that in games, you can tell. Yeah, you can tell that wasn't meant to be that way. So definitely cautious about Gotham Knights, but I think there's something there.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, or interested at least. Kena Bridge of Spirits, Q1 apparently. So the next couple months, hopefully.
I mean, granted, we are going off of one trailer, but I think it was a pretty substantial trailer with lots of gameplay and stuff like that, and it just looks very heartwarming and interesting and surprisingly beautiful, and like I think a damn Pixar movie. Like I don't know, I'm in. I'm into the vibes.
I think it's safe to like, as far as reception, I feel good about it. As far as the sales, if it's as good as it looks, pretty damn well.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's gonna have that Sony backing.
I want to see more, because this is another game that it's like I hope our expectations aren't getting out of control. Like I was really hoping we would have seen it at the Game Awards, and I hope we get to see it sometime soon. But
maybe there's a state of play coming up. Then it'll be at.
That'd be cool. Yeah. But I'm very, very intrigued.
Actually, I could see it definitely. Like, well, maybe, I don't know. They're probably going to do a state of play that features Returnal at some point.
Yeah,
before March.
So. I think when there some insider person said state of play early 2020, which makes sense. I mean,
yeah. Also, I guess add on to Returnal. We'll get to it. Well, we can just say it now. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart coming out in the first half of the year, getting a release date or something for that.
Yeah, you have to.
So I think it's safe to say Ratchet & Clank is going to be far up on our anticipated.
We'll see where exactly, but you know me and you know him, you know what's up there.
I mean, like, as far as games this year, this is one of the easiest slam dunks for us.
Yes. Yeah. I would be flabbergasted if this game wasn't at the bare minimum, like, good/great, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, just... Insomniac's a great developer, so we have trust in the gameplay, but just the kind of stuff we've seen from like what they're actually doing in this game, like, oh, this actually does take
it was breathtaking.
Yeah,
it's like, and I said so much during that conference that I love that they chose a game like Ratchet and Clank to show off the PS5.
Yeah,
because it's like, yeah, it's not just realistic things that can be super enhanced with like improved tech. It's also more stylized things like this. When you see like Ratchet and Clank with those like lighting effects and everything, I'm like, I think back to like the janky ass PS2 Ratchet and Clank. So like you look at like where we started to where we are now. It's like, what in the world?
And not even just the visuals, but the actual way the game works with the riffs and everything. Like that stuff's just not possible in PS4, which is why it's not on the PS4.
Yep. And 2016 already had so many unique guns. You would get a new gun, you'd be like, now what does this gun do? Jesus Christ. And like, this looks like that on steroids.
And female Lombax type, you know?
Yeah, the story that already has a central hook in the story that I'm very interested in.
Yep.
And it's kind of cool that we get to now, like 2016 was kind of a reboot. It was kind of like telling their like origin story in a way or whatever. And it's kind of cool that they get to like, okay, now we're going to go forward. And probably, I mean, Ratchet & Clank is one of the big three of Sony platforms that I'm like the least. It was my least favorite, even though I still love it, and I know the least about. Like I remember the least about the world and everything. But people are saying that like with people who know a lot more than me about Ratchet & Clank were pointing out like when they were going to all those different worlds that like this is probably going to merge the new Ratchet & Clank with the old one as far as canon.
Cool.
Is like there, or at least even if it's not directly like that's the Ratchet from the other one, it'll be like elements from the old games that were kind of wiped out of canon are now canon again. So it's
very excited for this one.
Yeah, very excited.
Day one for both of us. You know that, baby.
Oh yeah, like midnight.
New Pokemon Snap. Let's go.
You can't look at me and expect me to talk.
Yeah. I'm excited for this. I like because it's been so long since Pokemon Snap, and I agree with you where you've been kind of saying it is a gimmick thing. It's like a thing for its time or whatever.
Which is,
it's just like, like I think there are some people that are going to be disappointed, but I think like there are a lot of people kind of like me, like we know what we're getting into with this, like, and I think what's also and. This is kind of me partly shitting on the Pokemon company and what they do. The fact that the game looks that beautiful, like us seeing Pokemon that beautiful in a game, is a selling point when it probably shouldn't be at this point. It's 2020.
It should have happened a long time ago. Should have happened in Sword and Shield.
Yeah, we should have. It shouldn't be that much better looking than Sword and Shield, or at least that big of a gap.
That's my biggest thing is I wish that this entire $60 game was like part of a Pokemon RPG.
Yeah.
Like seeing these Pokemon in these environments and everything. Like I wish that like that amount of effort, I feel like that should just be like a subsection of a much bigger, better game. But, you know, it's the same with everything Pokemon. Like you're taking half a product and you have to just enjoy that, you know. Yeah. And I do stand by, I think there's going to be a number of people who think they want this and then they get it and realize they don't, or they don't finish it, even if they're not negative about it, but they don't see it to the end because they get bored. But people really like the Let's Go, and I think that those games look really bad. So, like, I don't know, you know, we'll see.
We will indeed.
But I'm very happy for you and everyone else who's been wanting this for so long. And it does look like the visuals, the environments look way more detailed than like anything we've seen in the Pokemon game, like you said. So it's cool.
No more Heroes Today, baby. Don't know when it's coming out this year. This might be one of those that come down the second half of the year. I'm just putting it here because it was just pushed back out of 2020.
We get to talk about No More Heroes on this podcast.
Yeah. Very excited for it. The more we see of it, the more I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Might be one of those, I mean, I'm curious to see because it's been a while since we've actually had a regular No More Heroes game. Mm-hmm. So to see how that kind of stuff generally holds up in 2020, it's already getting a new one. Yeah. But what they showed is good, and they're going at least with the story and the vibe and everything, they're going crazy out there because Travis is like a mech suit shit, and then Fu.
Yeah.
That's going to be great.
That story is going to be great. It's going to be bonkers. It's going to be ridiculous.
It's going to be enjoyable. And you're going to love me just talking about that.
Absolutely. I hope when I walk by something insane is happening, I can just...
Yep.
Yeah. No, I have a lot of respect for this game, and the marketing has been A+.
Oh, yeah. So, very excited. Overwatch 2. Definitely put it out there.
A whole podcast just on this.
Yeah. Overwatch 2 technically not announced for 2020, but everything points to it's coming out this year for sure, right? Or more so, it has to come out this year.
Must, and if there's a friend of ours that I haven't looked into it at all, but our friend who's
I didn't think about that when I do it.
Our friend that's really big into Overwatch 2. Apparently, there was a leaked thing on a pamphlet or something that pointed towards October, which is way too late.
So I haven't seen that either.
I don't want to say that as fact because.
Part of me that maybe not believe that is because why would they be something with an October date this far in advance?
Yeah, and there's been lots of faked Overwatch 2 stuff. People actually made physical fake things, almost like the Smash Grinch. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's how that's how much is on Overwatch 2. There's a lot of people paying attention. But either way or whatever. I mean, if you're not a big Overwatch fan, they have basically the game normally had new characters and new maps every 3 months or something like that, 3 to 4 months. I think sometimes
kind of rotated, then every couple months.
Yeah, sometimes it was longer, but just multiple a year or whatever. And then ever since last February, a character came out, and they just completely have killed any content coming out for Overwatch 1, saving it all for Overwatch 2. Which for a game like Overwatch, that sucks. That's a way to make the game feel so stale and just stagnant. And the whole sequel thing, it just feels very forced by Activision.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And especially since when Overwatch 2 comes out, Overwatch 1 players are going to get all those characters and stages anyway.
Yep.
Or characters and maps anyway. The only thing they're going to miss out on is the single or the story stuff, which honestly the majority of Overwatch or a lot of Overwatch players don't even care about. I mean, I think it's going to be fun, but it's certainly not what I care about. Yeah. And it really frustrates me that a bunch of content that I'm going to get for free anyway is being held for this just make-believe sequel that's not even really a sequel. It's more like an expansion.
No.
And you kill the game for a year just to drum up hype for that. It's that's just a really bad, feels very Activision move. A lot is riding on Overwatch 2, I feel like. There's a lot of expectations for that game now. It didn't need to be this way.
I feel bad for the Overwatch team because I agree with you. I feel like I'd be surprised if, we learned that wasn't just an Activision overlord type thing. That was their plan all along, and I really doubt that's the case.
I doubt too. I think Blizzard is probably more responsible for everyone's going to get this stuff. I think probably Activision would have been no, we cut this off. You have to buy Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
It's
Blizzard's no, this is how we piss our fans off.
It's listen, you don't know what... Yeah.
People will jump to another game.
That being said, I'm obviously very excited. Yeah. Overwatch is a very important game to me, a game that I've put so many hours in, and I still do, and I have consistently every week pretty much this year. So I'm very excited, and there is going to be something pleasing about 12 new characters dropped all at once. Chaos. That would
I'll get your expectations, lower your expectations a little bit about the character count.
That would be a lot of fun. I'm just saying, an influx of new characters all at once, and no one knows what the fuck's going on. That would be a lot of fun. But
the good news is we'll get hopefully a lot more. We know we're getting information, but hopefully a lot of information next month.
Yes,
at BlizzCon Online, whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, it's gonna sell well. It's just this game has to be huge to justify any of this. That's the bad part about this.
This is going to be a weird one to potentially for the sake of like Game Awards and our own stuff, talk about is like Game of the Year talk.
Because it kind of merges with it's weird, yeah. And it's, what's Overwatch 2 versus Overwatch 1 or whatever, and it's discourse around this game is not going to be great, and it's going to be like weird. I don't know.
Well, Dari, you know what the good news is about the next game? We're probably not going to hear any discourse about it, which is Pokemon Unite.
Yeah, hopefully people got all their discourse out in the announcement, and they can just run away and let me have fun. Because
I expect there will be some people like we see on Twitter, like it's because Pokemon try it out and be like, man, this isn't good, and and then like occasionally bring it up like, I don't know what Pokemon company's thinking. Like they made Pokemon Unite, they greenlit that, and
it'll be brought up as this shit or whatever, and meanwhile it'll be like the biggest game, like one of the top grossing games, like played by like millions and millions of people. But then people like in our circles will be like, oh yeah, that stupid dead game, why did they do that? You know, like that went nowhere. It's like, okay, so like,
League dead game.
I've legitimately seen people say that, which is
I'm
so stoked.
I expect this game to do well, for sure. Based on what we've seen, I expect it to play well. Obviously, you have a lot more League experience than me, much more. But you and Alex seem to get the vibe like, oh yeah, this looks good. What they're doing with it and fitting Pokemon in this is well done. Mm-hmm. And I've been showing you some League stuff, and you seem surprised with the actually different maps.
Yes, it actually has some things that I'm excited about that like League doesn't have, which is cool.
Yeah, and how they're fitting Pokemon in different roles and stuff. Not simple, oh, these are just Pokemon doing generic Pokemon shit. It's like, oh no, they have their own roles and shit.
It seems like a perfect marriage of IP and game style. And another thing that like Back 4 Blood, they're not overthinking it. They're making it, it's League players will be able to, and other MOBA players will be able to walk in and be like, yeah, it's that. But then they'll also have some of their own spin on it. So very, very excited. And it's going to be huge. Not necessarily, not in our circles. Like I said, a lot of people will forget this game existed in our circles, but especially in the East, it's going to be huge, and even here, I think it's going to still be pretty big.
I'm curious to see reception from League players or people who like League, partly because it's not going to be on PC.
Yeah. And it's going to be volatile with any of these esports games. There's a lot of overreaction to everything, and there's going to be a lot of people who just hate on it. Like, the discourse, there's going to be a lot of hatred, but then I think underneath that, you'll have a much bigger section of people who just like it a lot. And, but it is a weird thing because it's an IP that's way more of a casual IP mixed with a game style that's way more like hardcore game. So it's a weird marriage. It'll be interesting.
Psychonauts 2, baby. Ooh. Don't know coming out the first half of the year. I'm not sure.
I think it's gonna actually come out this year. I think this is the year, Joe.
So we did. Yeah, I mean, Tim Schafer has posted some stuff. He was like, it's playable from beginning to end.
For hell or high water, this is coming out.
They're just doing, some of the little bug fixes and just little makeup and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully the first half of this year, maybe, or at least get the date. But I'm really excited. We haven't seen like a crazy amount of footage, but everything they've showed gets me really excited. Like, okay, the creativity's still there. All the crazy shit's gonna happen, and I'm kind of glad. Like, we're just seeing like the worlds and stuff, and like, I don't know like how exactly 100% how the story is going to go in the writing with the characters and stuff. We haven't seen all that, which is exciting. It's like, I'm in on that shit. Yeah, it's just show me. I'm in on everything, obviously, but show some of the worlds, which will probably get some people in. Yeah. I'm very curious about. I think this will be received well. I'm curious how well, because Psychonauts has always been kind of a cult classic. It kind of failed in the beginning, but it's just gotten not like the most popular games. Kind of got to more popular as it's gone on, that kind of thing. So I'm very curious, and it'll have the Microsoft backing behind it, which is very different and interesting.
Yes, I don't feel confident at all pinning where this will commercially. I think reception of this is going to be great. I think Xbox buying them has made this game so much better because of how much they're able to put in it. But sales wise, like, I mean, I wouldn't be like, I think it'll like outsell Psychonauts 1 and everything, which is probably good enough, that right away. But like, I don't see this becoming like a huge hit, but I wouldn't be the most surprised if it like surprises a little bit and like starts giving some more people.
The thing is that I think ironically, or not ironically, but kind of hurts this game a little bit is the fact Psychonauts 1 is not on Game Pass yet. Apparently there's some kind of weird rights thing to where they haven't been able to do that or something. I saw.
Yeah, that sucks. That needs to be.
Though I will say it's on sale constantly on Steam and stuff for like $3.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's practically.
It's just the Psychonauts 2, like the art style. I think it's just one of those things that a lot of people just see the art style and immediately turn away.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying it's like it looks older and it looks like weirder. That I just think the mass appeal, like the people who don't know anything about it, will be turned off by it. Not saying it again. So it's incorrect. It's an incorrect thing, but
yeah, so I'm excited for this day one. Hear me rave about it. Let out my inner James Williams.
Very good chance for GOTY 2021 for Jeff.
Yep. Talk about Rose Clank. Resident Evil Village. Absolutely very excited about this game. Unfortunately, I'm having this.
I need to see gameplay. I need to see gameplay of this game.
Well, Darby, if you really want to, I think the whole game is out there on the internet.
Oh no!
That big Capcom leak stuff is getting like people are just doing stuff. I think the whole game's out there. I haven't seen what's in the leaks. I've just seen the whole game has leaked.
Yikes!
And all story shit and stuff is out there.
Leaks.
So
that's not good.
Yeah.
Hopefully it comes out soon then.
Yeah. I think April is the rumor thing. Hopefully it's around there.
Yeah.
But like very excited for this game. Curious to see where it goes and everything with what's up with Chris and all that. What's gonna go on with Ethan?
And how
the fuck did they kill Mia?
Yeah, and how much 7 is it versus something new? You know, it's kind of weird because 7 feels like longer ago than it was, just because we've gotten 2 other Resident Evil games since then, so it just feels like it's like, oh yeah, Resident Evil 7's a long time. It's like, not really. It's like
2017.
Yeah, it was not that long ago. They've just been cranking these bad boys out.
Hell yeah. Yep. Ruin King, a League of Legends story. First half. Got to say about this?
Not much. I'm very interested just because I've gotten really into League. I still have a lot of questions on what the game is, how it's going to play, because it just seems like there's a bunch of different games mixed in one, made by an indie studio, which could be good or could be bad. I'm interested. But they seem to handle everything else with dealing with the League with a lot of care, so I expect this to be the same. So this could be a cool way for me to start to learn League lore. So I'm very interesting.
I'm more excited for that fighting game. I want to see that shit.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm way more excited for the fighting game. Yeah.
Hopefully we get maybe see more of that or get it this year. I don't know. Last game, Scarlet Nexus. We kind of talked about it. I have some interest in it. I doubt I'm actually going to get around to it. I expect it to score around the 80-ish mark. Probably. It will be on the NPDs the month that it comes out, but around 15 to 10 maybe. Yeah. Depending on what else is coming out.
I think we know exactly. Just go look at Astral Chain. That's about what this. We know what this game is and it's going to be, and that's great. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah. Okay, Darby. Hour 40 minutes in. Let's get to our list.
Jesus. Yeah. Let's go through this decently fast since we already talked about a lot of these games. It should be pretty simple. Yeah, Jeff. Why don't you run through your honorable mentions, which will be everything below 10, and kind of just quickly run through those, and then we'll spend a little more time on our 10 through above and go back and forth.
Yeah.
We'll go back and forth for our 10 through above. But we each go for...
Sorry, it's making... Just realized I didn't change around this order real quick.
Good.
Okay. So number 20. All right, wait, no, no.
I'm at 19, so it's close.
Now let me fix this. The numbers are all fucked up.
Okay.
Okay, I'm good. Okay, number 20, new Pokemon Snap. Has some interest in that, but excited for that. But has some reservations. Who knows? 19, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I'm excited for it, but it is a game I have played before. Yeah. With some bonus content, but I'm excited to play with you. 18, Monster Hunter Rise. Like Monster Hunter, like you mentioned, didn't get as much into World as other people did, but I'm excited to play it with you guys. 17, Gotham Knights. Excited for it. Have some reservations for it, but I want that Batman fix. 12 minutes at 16. While this game could be much higher than these games once we get to the next end of year list, we haven't seen much of it, so my hype level can only get so high for this game. Even though I'll have some games we've seen even less of higher than this, but how that is. 15, hit mentally, very excited, ready to hit people with frying pans in VR.
Yes.
14, the medium, very excited, interested to see how that works. That gameplay thing works. I feel very good about this game.
Yes.
The vibe enough will probably do it. 13, Chris Tales. Mentioned, very excited for what this game's going to do, and I've been looking forward to this game for about a year and a half now, so give it to me already. 12, It Takes Two.
Okay.
I'm excited to play that with you. Again, that might be one of those, once we get to the end of the year, it's higher than it is on this list for sure. But very excited for it. It's just, we've seen the gameplay looks impressive, but, there's still some chance it's not.
I always treat this whole list like it's just an instant desire. It's like a lizard brain reflex of what do you want to play the most right now? And there's so many factors to it.
I think it's fitting that this is right above it. Little Nightmares 2, where it's a similar thing of playing co-op with you fun, but what puts Little Nightmares 2 above it, I've played the original. It is great.
Yeah,
I know this game's going to be great.
Known quantity and more.
So that's my 20 through 11.
Nice. Very nice. I realized I did not put, just throwing it out there, I did not put Chris Tales anywhere on here. I kind of forgot about it. I don't know exactly where I put it because I just don't know enough about the game, so we're just going to leave that off. But I think that game's going to be very good. All right, so my number 19 is Guilty Gear Strive.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Enough.
That's right out of my top 20.
Yeah. Obviously, it's gonna be a fun game, but it's not something I'm super duper or whatever. Right above that, 18 is Ghostwire Tokyo.
Also right outside my top 20.
Yeah, interested in it. I don't really think I'll play it, but there are things I like. I'm interested. It's one of those that's a possibility, depending on how.
Especially with Game Pass, baby.
Especially with Game Pass, much more likely. In the exact same vein, number 17 is Deathloop. A little more interested. We've seen a little bit more, but still one of those that's on the cusp and whatever. Another one that's also kind of on that same cusp, number 16, is Gotham Knights.
I'd expect that on your list.
I have less games than you, whatever, but this is pretty far down. But it's a big part of the co-op thing. I could just see the co-opness that being fun. I would not really play this game on my own, I don't think.
Darby, who do you think you would like to main out of the four if you just get first choice?
Nightwing is probably pretty damn cool, but Batgirl,
he does have a great ass.
But he does have a great ass.
That's canon.
He does. That speaks for something.
There's a scene in a comic, I just gonna assume it's real, where Dick's under mind control or some shit, or in a mask. Batman sees Dick from behind. He's like, "That's Dicker. I know that ass." It's probably fake, but I'm gonna assume it's real.
No, it's real. We're just gonna go with that. That's real as hell. My number 15 is Monster Hunter Rise.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, very excited. Again, co-op with us. Actually, one that I think I forgot that I think you did not put on here. I think it's coming out this year. Monster Hunter Stories, baby.
That's yes, but it may not come out first half, so that's kind of why I forgot about it. Okay. But honestly, summer, I probably would have put on this. I honestly did not see it on the list, so I forgot about it.
I wasn't thinking about when you did that. Whatever. I love that trailer so much. This game might not end up being that good or whatever, but I was really into it.
It's more a low key thing. I don't know how people. I think people really liked first Monster Hunter Stories, and I feel like this could easily be a step up.
Yeah, so. It's weird because I think world story, the story narrative in Monster Hunter World is just stupid and gets in the way, and I don't like it. But this just looked so jolly, and I love the art style so much, and even some of the generic story that they were talking about. I was I'm interested in this. Is
well, Darby, this could be one of the times you get the physical copy and share with me.
Let's go, boy. Yeah, and I'm probably one of the only people with stories above Rise. Just one slot, but it's just a little bit about it. 13 is the Ruined King. Interested? This could go way up or way down. Who knows? 12, the Medium. right outside that range. Just unsure enough about it to be outside of the top 10, but still very excited. And number 11, Little Nightmares 2. So excited to play that with you.
Hell yeah.
Blast. Yeah.
Good times. Okay, let's get to the top 10. Guess we'll go back and forth. 10, 10, 9.
Yeah,
do that.
That sounds good to me.
Number 10. On the list for the 3rd year in a row. Digimon Survive.
There it is.
There it is.
I like the chart where it's been every year. Like
it's down more. I think there's a lot of games that are interested in this, but at some point it does got affected. The fact that it's been so long since we've actually seen the game. Yeah. I think there are certain rumors that there might be some stuff redone for it, so it could be a little different from what we've seen. Yeah. Which does kind of worry me. Because as I talked about when I talk about this game, I'm such a big fan of what this game's going for and the visuals and all that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping it's not like a big difference from what we've seen so far as far as style and everything. But I'm still very excited for this game. A story-heavy strategy RPG Digimon game. Fuck yeah, man. Come on. Let's go. Yeah. And characters can die, apparently, based on choice. Let's go.
That looks like a game that's probably going to be way better than it has any right to be.
Yeah. And I will be the only one talking about it. Yeah. I'll have it as one of my top couple.
You and Kyle Bosman.
Yeah, if it hits the right notes for me, and then no one else talks about it.
Absolutely.
Fucking
all right,
cowards.
My number 10, Back for Blood.
Let's go.
Don't think we need to talk about it too much, but just looks like no doubt in my mind that's going to be a fun time.
Oh, yeah. Good jolly time. Number 9, Kena, Bridge of Spirits.
Okay. Kind of low, but we've only seen one dang trailer for the dang thing, so I probably am just too hyped for it.
Yeah,
this is a me problem.
I kind of thought, it might be a little low. I feel like you might be not as surprised once we get through my list.
Probably.
But yeah, just the visuals look great. What they're going for is great. Yeah, it's just there's a little hesitation there, just because we just seen the one trailer.
Yeah, no, you're being more reasonable than I. Mm-hmm. My number 9 is It Takes Two, baby.
Ooh, baby.
Ooh. Another just instant slam dunk.
Yeah,
I mean, again, only one trailer, but I feel very confident.
Well, at least that we saw significant gameplay stuff, and we played a game from the studio with that similar kind of stylish something.
So unique. So. I'm just so ready.
Yeah. Because again, I didn't mention this with It Takes Two, but when we played A Way Out, something we wish it had after playing it was more of the crazy kind of moments, like when you're riding in a car and doing stuff together, and just more puzzles and maybe some combat and stuff. And this seems to have that in spades.
Yes.
Good. Yeah. So, number 8, No More Heroes 3.
There it is.
There it is. Obviously, I'm very excited for this game. I think this is going to be a slam dunk as far as me is concerned. I'm very curious how other people will receive it. I feel like this is the most love No More Heroes has gotten. Just from a public thing, the trailers actually got some people's interested. Yep. We'll see how that carries on with sales and stuff, but I trust Suda to have a crazy bashing, make a crazy. And then
Nintendo pushing, I think, helps some too. This is its shot. This is the best shot it's ever going to have to. It's not going to have a shot.
I'm hoping Travis Strikes Again doesn't deter people.
Yeah,
because that's a completely different. It's not a great game.
Not enough people even played it. So
yeah.
All right. My number 8, and it's I don't know. It's placing this one was hard. My number 8 is Pokemon Unite.
Fuck yeah, baby! A Pokemon game in Derby's top 10. We did it, guys. We did it.
I think I'm gonna play this game a lot. I think I'm gonna put a lot of hours into this game if it has the depth that I think it could. And obviously it's not going to be as deep as League of Legends, which might be a good thing in some ways. I feel like this is going to be a little more relaxing than League of Legends is.
Well, I think what will help is that this is the one that you might get me and Olivia in on some. So
and it's just a lot easier. Switch, you all get our Switch up. I mean, well, I say easier. Switch online. We'll see. But
yeah. And well, with this one, something I kind of really thought about until now, which could be fun, is we go over to their house and kind of switch our Switches down. I mean, we'll have to do tabletop mode, but that will be fine. Just get our Pro Controllers out and play with that.
That could be sweet. Yeah, have a little LAN party type thing. Yeah,
that could be a lot of fun.
That could be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I'm very, very, very excited for this game.
Yeah. All right, number 7, Overwatch 2.
Okay, nice.
Yes, I'm. It's one.
No More Heroes 3.
Yeah, I know that's surprising. It's one of those things where I love Overwatch. Obviously, you guys just eclipse it because you guys play a lot of hours, and I think it's like you guys like one of the favorite games of all time and all that shit. But I really love playing with you guys. I know I don't do it as much as I do, but I'm excited to do this. It'll make me more motivated to play more, just in general. And obviously, partly because you guys will be. Your excitement for will be reinvigorated, hopefully. I'm excited to play the new characters. I'm excited for the story stuff. I'm probably the one maybe most excited for it.
Yeah. And I am too. I don't want to make it seem like I'm completely not. Yeah. I just wish that it didn't hold everything else hostage.
Because I like the general world of Overwatch and the characters for what characterization is there. They're fun. I'm excited to see what they do, even expanding on that a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be more fun. It takes some pressure off from the competitive aspect. But
something I think you will really enjoy a lot is like, I don't know how much you remember when they were showing that thing off, but like they take every character and they take like things about them. Like the one that I remember the most is like they have Hanzo's like arrow thing, but in the story mode you can get upgrades. So like he shoots arrows and they all like heat seek.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
Or you can do like Mei like freezes like this entire thing, or like Roadhog has like 6 hooks. Like they're going bonkers with the story mode because they're like, it's not competitive, who gives a shit. So it's like they're just going for like fun, and I think you'll probably get really into the just like, let's get wacky, let's
go, baby.
It's like,
hooking all you fools.
All the fools. It's just gonna be ridiculous, like everything going on. It's gonna be insane. Okay, so my number 7 is 12 minutes.
Nice.
This is one that could go way up. It's just I want to be a little more hesitant just because we don't know a lot about it, but premise wise, so interesting. I mean, this has a chance to be very high on my end of the year list for 2021. Just story wise, I'm just very, very into what's going on.
Number 6 for me, Persona 5 Strikers, baby. Nice. Let's go. Obviously, may not. Obviously, we'll see how much they let Persona compare to other games this year in the coming weeks on the Nerds at Large Gaming podcast. But yeah, obviously, I love the characters. And I'm very interested to see what they do with the gameplay. Even if it's a straight up Muso, I'd have fun with it. But this seems to have some other things on it through the way it's just not just a simple straight up Muso. Would be fun. Just more actual Persona stuff into the actual gameplay compared to Hyrule Warriors and stuff. So that's very exciting. And obviously the story stuff, even if it is kind of more on the fan servicey side, more than I might like. From the sounds of it, it's not as much as like Hyrule Warriors and the other Muso games are. So even if it's not there fun, just being with those characters longer will be fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, random, but I discovered this the other day. I don't know if you knew. V's female voice actress is Makoto's voice actress.
Oh, okay. I can kind of hear that. Yeah. It's pretty different though, but I can kind of hear that. I really like V's voice actor. I mean, it might be slight bias or whatever, but like from what I've heard of the male one, I think the male one sounds fine too. But I like the female V's voice actress.
I know, I really like. I think the V's one is very good.
Yeah, and I haven't heard enough. All those comments. My number 6, Horizon Forbidden West. Very excited. Mostly from story thing. There is concerns of just like this feeling, big open world game feeling way too much like the previous open world game, and just my open world RPG fatigue in general getting to me more and more. But just from a pure like the Horizon story was so interesting, and I just really want to see where that goes next.
Yeah,
but.
I'm excited, but again, I need to play Horizon.
I understand. You can't really. It's hard to place that.
Yeah. But as I mentioned before, Horizon's at the top of my backlog list to get around to.
But Horizon is even maybe like lower on this potentially than it could be, because I definitely have some worries. Because even story wise, it was kind of one of those that's like almost like Lost or Westworld or like a lot of things like that, where it's like there was one central really, really, really interesting premise, and like the whole story was based on mystery of like there's one or two like this one like central story, and then you mostly get the answer to that story at the beginning. So like a lot of times these type of stories can kind of falter with what to do next. And I think Horizon definitely has the chance of doing that.
What are you talking about? Everyone loved Lost all the way through. No controversy. Definitely not with the ending.
No, absolutely not.
I watched Lost once. I find that I like the ending well enough. I don't know how I feel on a rewatch. We'd have to see.
Yeah. I never saw all of Lost, though.
I enjoy it. Number 5. Untitled God of War sequel.
Untitled Goose War.
God of Goose.
God of Goose.
Yeah. Obviously, love the last God of War. Very excited for this. I guess kind of comparing it to what you said about Horizon. I think you agree. We don't have those fears of where's the story going. They set it up perfectly. We know where this is going.
There's not a worry in my mind.
Yeah, we're all for it.
Yeah. I'm salivating in the mouth. I just want that story continued as soon as possible.
As far as this list goes, I don't know how much higher to go if we've actually seen gameplay or story and stuff. Once you hear what the games are, you probably guess it if you really thought about what my final 4 are.
I stopped and thought,
but honestly, very excited for this game. And I know you agree with me, doubts that it actually coming out this year, but they have it for 2021. So it's on this list right now.
It's on mine too, baby. Yeah. You better believe. If you let me put it on there, it's going to be on. My number 5, Kena Bridge of Spirits. Again, so maybe a little wishful thinking. Yeah, it could bite me in the ass. It's very high.
Yep.
But I was so into the trailer and everything and those vibes and everything. It's just like, they have to unsell me, so.
You can expect to hear us talk about that game when it comes out. I think
that's why it's above Horizon, is I just have more tangible fears about Horizon than I do Kena, but also part of that might be because I don't know enough about Kena. So
yeah. And I think it's fair to be like the potential highs of Kena, like what you've actually seen, the promise of it. Yeah. Put it over Horizon.
Yeah,
I get
it's not an exact science, but Kena has me like, I want to play Kena right now.
Yeah. Man, imagine that came out at launch. Number 4, Tales of Arise.
Number 4, Tales of Arise.
Like, I know it's coming for you. Unless you forgot about it.
Nope. Didn't forget. Want it right now.
Yep. Yeah.
And I mean, it's a testament to there's a number of things. It's the way that trailer looked. It looks like a substantial step forward for Tales. Like, I did not like Zestiria. I'm not crazy about Berseria, so that's 2 straight games that I've not been crazy about. So like, you would think I would be justified for taking that out on Arise, not being as excited for that. But there's like the thing of like, it legitimately looks like a substantial step forward. It honestly does, and I trust them at this point because like, it just looks like unrecognizable almost in like how
you didn't know it was Tales at first.
Exactly.
So the title. And
then the other part is, I think that is just the playing a JRPG that is meant to be played like co-op with you is just like a high I'll be chasing forever. So I think like that part of it also makes me want to believe more and more and more because like playing both of the Zillias was just like so much damn fun, and even with Spearing, I'm like, I want this to be what we want it to be. And
another game. We got a good mini co-op game on here, Dark.
I know, yeah. That's what co-op is boosting a lot of these games too, and my excitement level is like,
Yep. I hope we see Tales of Arise soon because again, it was supposed to come out this year. Yeah. Wait, was it? It was announced for this year, I think.
It was from the get-go. Yeah, I don't think it was ever supposed to be last year. We just thought we'd see it last year, but I think it was like
and then they got pushed back into 2021. Yeah. Hopefully we see that sooner rather than later. Okay, so it was your number 4. My number 3. Near Replicant version 1.224744871139. ... Hell yeah. For the reasons I said before, it's
just that's gonna be slam dunk.
Slam dunk.
That's the word of the day. My number 3, Overwatch 2.
Fuck yeah,
baby. Yeah. Lots of mixed feelings. I know I was saying a lot of negative things, but I'm obviously, this shouldn't be happening the way it is. That being said, that's one of the things in 2021 I'm looking forward to the most is one of my most played games getting a giant swell of content, and it looks beautiful. The new style looks very good. So hyped, very hyped.
I know one of your last 2. I'm blanking on what I'm thinking the other one could be.
We'll see. It's a mystery.
Number 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Hell yeah, baby. Let's go.
Oh, I guess I know what your number 1 is. Yeah, as we talked about before, this game's going to be insane. It's everything they showed is A+ in the fact that Insomniac, it's Ratchet and Clank. It's a slam dunk.
Yes. No, at 100%. So excited. My number 2, Untitled God of War. Sequel.
I don't know why I forgot. I guess because we talked about it.
Yep. Yeah. Not much.
Damn Sony pony.
Not much needs to... Yeah. I know, seriously, dude. Not much needs to be said. It's that sequel just immediately makes you want more. It makes the wait for the next one so hard because, in a lot of ways... God of War was an act 1 of a story, not in a bad way. Just it was like it felt like it was simultaneously like there were arcs that like completed and gave you a resolution that you felt good about in that one game, but then it was obvious there's another bigger arc that is just so obvious. Yeah. So it's simultaneously you feel some closure, but you're also like, oh, I need more.
I mean, it's a thing we're just not used to as much in video games. At least in the big ones, it feels like with that kind of stuff, where movies do all the time. We're used to it there, and even like with Final Fantasy VII, people see those threads, like not all the threads goes like, what's this bad storytelling? It's like, there's an obvious sequel.
People get very mad in games when things aren't just completely wrapped up in a bow. Where
it's strangely enough, I didn't see that with God of War. He was just set to him.
Which is like, why can't games do that too? If we know there's going to be another sequel, then sure, you can bridge those things. That's perfectly fine.
It's one of the things with that ending. It's like, especially when we know it's going to sell well, it's like, oh, this is them announcing the sequel in the game.
Yes, it's like there's no doubt
we're getting a sequel.
And like I talk about my fears with Horizon as far as like gameplay and some of the other things like that. I have less fears like that with God of War because I just think that it's more of a smaller scope than a giant open world with all these side quests and everything. And I think that combat was just like super tight and unique, and like I can already kind of see ways where they can improve on it, and like I have more faith in that.
Yeah, and I'm pulling this out of my ass. I have not played Horizon, and I admittedly have not seen much because I don't want to get spoiled on stuff even now. But the one thing God of War probably has over Horizon is like boss fights and just the way that kind of stuff set up. It had those epic moments. I would say God of War 2018, like there was, I know some people kind of disappointment. The fights maybe not epic enough overall, but like compared to the other past God of War games.
Yeah, I mean those were kind of over the top. I like the way these were epic more than those, but yeah.
But that depend. I guess for the person, then that's something they can quote unquote improve upon, knowing what like the criticism, for lack of a better word of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like. I think
I'm not saying I agree. I just know people say.
I think the epic, like grand things that happen in God of War 2018 mean so much more than the previous ones because they were kind of more, like, few and far between. I feel like because in God of War you're just like jumping up and like tearing some gigantic 500-foot tall god's eye off every 5 minutes, and like there's obsessive like crazy gore every 5 minutes, and it just stops sex. It stops sex every 5 minutes, so it stops meaning as much of it. Whereas in God of War 2018, when a big boss fight happens, it's like, oh Jesus Christ, yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be good. We are over 2 hours.
Fuck yeah, baby.
It's good.
Speaking of 2, my number 1, Psychonauts 2, baby.
No.
Yeah, I was very excited.
2 years in a row, right?
Yeah, 2 years in a row. We've done this 4 times, 2 games at number 1.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Very excited this game for a lot of reasons. Like, I played Psychonauts just last year and instantly close, like, top 10 easily on top 10 all time lists just immediately for me. Probably up there on the 2. We'll see.
Pretty big, yeah.
Yeah. So I want to see more of these characters, like especially since it's been multiple generations since we got Psychonauts 1. I'm curious to see what they can do with the new tech. And based on what we see on trailers, their creativity has not died down with Tim Schafer and that crew. So I am very excited for this. And I'll be singing this game praises, I'm sure, when it comes out like crazy. Like when we talk about like creativity in games or worlds, we talk about like Sackboy and stuff for 3D platformers is where a lot of times it feels like that's where creativity like comes out.
Yeah,
I feel like that's on steroids with Psychonauts with the stuff they've done in 1 and what we're seeing for 2.
I need to just suck it up and play the game.
And just a warning for anyone wanting to play it. There are some of the gameplay stuff that it has aged. It didn't bother me and stuff. People really hate the last level. I didn't mind it as much as as far as like the difficulty and stuff on it. So just want that going in. It's the creativity and writing of it and everything. And the gameplay is fun.
I feel like it won't bother me as much because like that was the type of game I played as a child. Look, I would go back and play the Sly Coopers and shit like that. And I know this is like, different than that, but yeah. My number 1. Speaking of games I played as a kid, Ratchet and Clank, baby.
Yeah, man.
Man, I just wanted that game so much. I mean, and I know like it's weird. Like I could end up liking the God of War sequel more than Ratchet and Clank. But when I stop right now and think like, Darby, what do you want to play right this second? It's Ratchet and Clank.
Again, parts of that we've seen a decent amount of the game as far as like pre-release advertising goes. We've seen straight gameplay and stuff that looked incredible. They showed, I think, the right stuff in trailers and stuff like this is how it's different gameplay wise. Oh, here's a hook with the female Lombax. Get excited, and it actually worked. Yeah, and us and a lot of people.
No, absolutely. There's really not like a pillar of this game that I'm not like over the moon, really excited about.
I think it's also telling the market like how good the marketing's been and what they showed from that game so far is. I think that's the most excited I've seen people for a Ratchet game ever.
Yeah. I agree. I've seen a good number of people who've never played Ratchet games that are excited about this. Even some people that missed 2016 who are really excited about this. And I'm right there. I know for some reason 2016 is a weirdly controversial game.
I've seen people like, 2016 wasn't that good. I'm like, what? What's going on?
People say the same thing about Thieves in Time, and I'm like, what? Like, should we be happy? It's like we actually got like well-made sequels to these like old PS2 games that we never thought we would. It's like, I don't know, but I loved 2016, and this just looks like it's in every single way building on top of that.
Oh yeah,
and man, I'm gonna just tear through this game, and this is gonna go down real smooth.
Oh yeah.
So excited.
Definitely some games here where you look at this like when they come out, that podcast is going to be me and you
just devour,
or at least one of us doing it.
Yeah. Yep. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was long, but it was good. 2021, some exciting stuff going on. I'm excited for it.
Yep.
Excited to put 2020 behind us, but we can't do that completely just yet because we have our best of 2020. Get excited for it, see where everything shakes out. So, stay tuned to this podcast feed for that. Jeff, answer your mama's call.
Right now?
Right now. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.